So hey there, this is Rahul here, your health coach, and today I'm going to discuss something very interesting. For the last 28 days, I have been conducting a continuous glucose monitor experiment, which is this experiment basically is a data collection experiment. I'm going to take you shortly through the presentation and going to just give you some highlights of the entire data collection exercise. I'm actually planning to do an entire presentation or a webinar on the complete 28-day experiment of data collection. Now, the idea about conducting this 28-day experiment of collecting data is about correlating science with the actual physiological response that we get when we eat food. And especially my interest in collecting the data is connected with how Indians are eating food and which I call standard Indian diet. And I conducted a research a few months back, just at the beginning of this year, on standard Indian diet. And no matter which part of the country we stay, our diets are majorly dominated by carbohydrates. And that is one of the core reasons that Indians today are experiencing metabolic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, elevated cholesterol levels, that's bad cholesterol, skin conditions, autoimmune conditions, a lot of cancer in the Indian population, a lot of insulin resistance related diseases like PCOS, erectile dysfunction, obesity. We need to really focus on our health and being genetically predisposed to certain conditions as being an Indian. We need to be really careful of the food that we eat. Now, this is my presentation, which I would like to take you all through. I'm not going to take you through the entire presentation. I'll just go through the highlights, and the information is very, very interesting. So this is my continuous glucose monitor data collection experiment, correlating data with science. Why am I doing this? As I said, trying to correlate or connect the standard Indian diet with the metabolic disorders that we are experiencing today. The most common disease that we all are famous for is diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity. Though a lot of Indians don't look obese from outside, we all experience visceral fat, and that's in fact more dangerous than being obese. Let's go to the next slide. How am I doing it? I will be collecting data on different parameters. Of course, I'll be checking my weight on a daily basis. I'll be collecting data of the continuous glucose monitor, which is attached over here on my arm. So it's divided into two halves, 14 days first cycle and the 14 days the second cycle of CGM. But the entire 28-day cycle is divided into 4 weeks. So each week I am eating in a different pattern. First week is all about eating 1 meal a day, that is fat and protein. Second week is all about eating 3 meals a day, but focused only on fat and protein. Third week is only water fast. So the data what I'll be collecting is by experiencing different ways of eating. And then third week, finally, I won't be eating anything. I'll be only having water. And fourth week, I will be eating standard Indian diet for 4 days. And the remaining 3 days, I will see again how to set my uh, metabolism, or what I call is metabolic reset. So let's go to the next slide. We also need to understand the physiological response to food and to fasting. So what normally I call it that humans exist in basically what do you say in a balanced way of fasting and feasting. And fasting is as important as feasting. But when we are doing fasting or when we are doing feasting, there are different physiological processes that are happening inside our body. And it's important to understand those processes uh, so that we can take key decisions as far as eating is concerned, as far as fasting is concerned. So one of the processes is gluconeogenesis, where your body manufactures its own glucose by breaking down fatty acids or by breaking down amino acids. So let's go to the next process that is called glycogenolysis. This is the process where your body removes the stored glycogen and manufactures back to glucose to be utilized as energy. Then is ketosis. Ketosis is where your body is basically breaking down fat and converting it to ketones to be used as energy. So your body can survive or process on two sources of energy. One is glucose and one is ketones. Certain organs like liver needs glucose and your red blood cells need glucose for functioning, but most of the other parts can function on ketones. All these years, I would say for the past 60, 70, 80 years, or let's say 100 years, we have been only feasting. We have been taking advantage only of one type of fuel. And we have forgotten kind of there is something called fasting. And in fasting, what dominates is ketosis. And that is what we have failed to take advantage. And we have missed out to balance our physiology. And that's why we are experiencing metabolic disorders. So our metabolism needs to be balanced, and it gets balanced if we are properly following feasting and fasting. So let's go to the next point, that is nutritional ketosis. This particular term, nutritional ketosis, was defined by Jeff Pollack and Dr. Stephen Feeney. And you can get the definition of nutritional ketosis on their website or by just typing in nutritional ketosis. So nutritional ketosis is where your blood ketone levels are maintained between zero point 0.5 to 3 millimolar per 3 millimolar. So that's how you measure the beta hydroxybutyrate in your blood. And for that, there is a similar machine like the blood glucose machine, which I will be monitoring my blood ketones and blood glucose through this 28-day cycle. These are my readings post a 6.5-day fast, which I had done prior to this 28-day experiment. And these were my final readings after 2 hours of breaking the fast. I ate a lot after 6.5 days, and my ketone levels were maintained at 5.8, and my blood glucose on Dr. Trust was 106. 5.8 is quite high even after eating, and this was the first time I had measured my ketone levels. Now, this is my first week of the 28-day cycle. You can see my blood ketones constantly rising. I won't be going into details right now in this presentation. This is just a kind of a trailer for you all to understand what physiological processes can happen when you are following 1 meal a day, 3 meals a day, fat and protein being dominant in your food, and then fasting, and then finally doing the standard Indian diet and ending it by a metabolic reset. So for that, I will be developing an entire different set of presentation. And in fact, I'm developing an entire nutrition course for healthcare professionals based on this 28-day cycle. And it's a beautiful course. It's a result-oriented course, and you all are going to love it. Anyone who's interested in learning that course, please get in touch with me. You can directly message me on mygenetic nutrition, or you can email me on mygeneticnutrition@gmail.com to learn, to become a coach, to become a mygenetic coach, to help people lose weight scientifically, to help people reverse their chronic conditions scientifically. So this is the course that you should be looking for going forward. So the information is based on this 28-day scientifically proven method of helping improve your metabolism. And I call it the metabolic reset diet. And if you want to become a coach, a metabolic reset coach, please get in touch with me. I will personally guide you through the entire process. Next is, if you can see, my ketone levels are 2.9. This is the day when I was out and felt like eating. I ate few pieces of fried mutton. Again, the focus is on fat and protein. I had some fish, small pieces of fish on the way home, and at home I had lunch. And I had ghee in the evening, and 2 hours that, which I had done the measurement, and my ketone levels were 2.1, and blood glucose as per Dr. Trust was 119. Going ahead, I was seriously doubting Dr. Trust, because Dr. Trust readings, the instant blood glucose was not matching with my ketone levels. That's why going forward, I changed the meter. I bought one more instant meter, and that proved me right. My doubts were in fact correct. I consulted Mr. Shashikant Iyengar, who is another low carb enthusiast, and he told me that AccuCheck works much better, and this proved. You can see in the small circle on the top, AccuCheck is showing 90 and Dr. Trust 110. These were the readings which I had taken on the same day, and below in the big square, it's 89 and 133. So these are afternoon readings, and in the small circle are the evening readings. So my doubts were confirmed. Later in the first week, you can see I have again compared two blood glucose meters. In the center is again my ketone levels. Ketone levels are again rising on my 1 meal a day plan. This is my last day of OMAD. OMAD is 1 meal a day, and got some really great results here too. Ketones were constantly rising. Going forward, this is my second week. Second week, as you remember, second week is 3 meals a day, again focused on fat and protein only. And this was even more surprising. I was able to maintain my ketone levels even after eating twice a week. But the key was that I was eating fat and protein, and I was not eating excessive proteins. And that is something to be focused on. So let's go ahead and check. My ketone levels again are rising. It's at 3.8. My blood glucose levels at 88. And my continuous glucose monitor was showing readings which were below 70. My limits, the lower limit on continuous glucose monitor was 70 and my higher limit was 110. Constantly throughout these first 2 weeks, it was always below 70. And that we will see at the end of this presentation. You can see again, this is my day 6 of 3 meals a day. My ketone levels are 2.1. I am in nutritional ketosis. So that's the biggest surprise of eating 3 meals a day. On last day of my second week, because I was going into a water fast, 7-day water fast, I really ate a lot. And that was a huge meal of mutton, I remember. And I actually went out of ketosis in my first day of water fast. So these are some interesting readings. If you see over here, these are my continuous glucose monitor readings. And if you see over here, my my range that what I've set on the continuous glucose monitor, the lower end is 79, whereas the higher end of my glucose is 110. But my readings constantly have been below 79. So I have always remained below my range of defined range of glucose, blood glucose in my first week as well as second week. This is 2nd October. You can see right at the bottom, my average glucose on that particular day or 1st October has been 67 throughout the day, and throughout these 2 weeks for the 14 days, my average glucose has been 69 according to CGM. Normally, such low glucose is understood to be very low, and doctors normally will ask you not to have such low blood glucose. But if in reality, if you see, if you're trying to correlate science with the data that you're getting, it is absolutely fine to have such low blood glucose levels, provided you're feeling fine. But this provided always depends on whether you are fat adapted or not. And then how to be fat adapted, you will learn in metabolic reset program. So you want to be a coach, you want to be a metabolic reset coach, you want to help people reset their metabolism, get in touch with me and I'll guide you in that. And so the key learning is that life has to be in balance, and there are different things happening, physiological reactions happening. There are different hormones, chemicals which are going on in our body or working in our body. And a lot of times they work in pairs. And just like that, fasting and feasting also is something that we need to keep a balance in our life. Now, this is only an assessment for the first 2 weeks of my program. The next 2 weeks, you will learn in the Metabolic Reset Coach program. So if you want to learn more about how to become a Metabolic Reset Coach, get in touch with me. This is Rahul Patil, your health coach, signing off. I hope you got to learn something interesting in this small presentation only. So if you want to learn more, want to become a metabolic health coach, metabolic reset health coach, and help people improve their health, get in touch with me. This is Rahul Patil, your health coach, signing off. See you again very soon with some more interesting news.